The fallout from Sophie Cunningham's honesty continued to swell long after the initial storm had passed. What started as a simple acknowledgment of athletic reality had spiraled into a full-blown referendum on truth itself. Everywhere the debate traveled, new layers of tension revealed themselves. Comment threads stretched for miles, each reply more heated than the last, as if expressing agreement with Sophie or disagreeing with her became a declaration of loyalty in a much larger battle. People who had never watched a WNBA game suddenly felt compelled to weigh in, while those who had spent years defending the league felt their identity threatened by a few lines of realism. The discussion moved with the speed of wildfire, igniting emotions and dragging the entire ecosystem of women's basketball into a broader conversation about honesty, image, and the fear of public perception. Inside the league, the mood was equally fraught. Players whispered about the controversy in locker rooms and group chats, knowing that Sophie had said what many privately believed but publicly avoided. Some admired her courage for stepping into a minefield and speaking plainly without fear of backlash. Others felt she had crossed a line, revealing something the league had spent years trying to complicate and soften. The WNBA constantly walked a tightrope between growing the brand and defending itself against criticism that often veered into disrespect. Sophie's comments stripped away the comfort of ambiguity, replacing it with a bluntness that left no space for spin or selective interpretation. She forced the conversation into the open, and once it was out there, it couldn't be contained again. Media outlets seized the moment, dissecting every angle they could find. Debate shows framed the disagreement as a clash between generational approaches. Younger fans appreciated Sophie's willingness to challenge unrealistic narratives, while older fans believed that she was undermining the unity needed to push the league forward. Analysts attempted to take middle ground positions, but even those felt insincere to viewers who recognized that this issue wasn't about diplomacy. It was about acknowledging a biological truth that shaped the fundamentals of the sport. Fans on social platforms quoted data, referenced AAU circuits, and compared statistics that painted the same picture. Sophie tried to communicate simply: athletic development is not equal, and pretending otherwise does not elevate women's sports. Meanwhile, Sophie herself remained calm through the chaos. She watched the debate unfold with a mixture of confusion and disbelief, realizing that the backlash had very little to do with her reasoning and everything to do with the fear surrounding the topic. She never sought to diminish the WNBA or any woman who played the game. She respected the grind, the sacrifice, and the dedication required to reach that level. Her point had been about context, not comparison. But people rarely hear nuance in a storm. They hear what they fear the most. Yet Sophie refused to back down or clarify in a way that softened her message. She believed that honesty did not undermine women's sports. It protected them by grounding conversations in reality rather than smoke and mirrors. As the social tension grew, so did the pressure placed on other players to address the topic. Some avoided it entirely, refusing interviews or carefully steering discussions elsewhere. Others provided diplomatic answers that attempted to appear supportive without committing to either side. Still, the silence itself became its own statement. Fans sensed that many players didn't want to risk the fallout Sophie had endured. This only heightened her role in the narrative, transforming her from a player responding to a viral clip into the face of a larger debate about transparency in women's sports. Eventually, both sides began weaponizing her comments to support their agendas. Critics of the WNBA used her statements as ammunition to diminish the league's legitimacy, ignoring Sophie's respect for women's basketball. Supporters of realism pointed to her words as proof that the league needed to address internal narratives more honestly. The most defensive voices in the WNBA community insisted that the discussion was rooted in sexism, arguing that comparisons to men's basketball should never be entertained. Yet beneath all the noise, the real question lingered like a shadow over the sport. Why had a simple acknowledgement of athletic differences become so threatening? The answer stretched far beyond Sophie Cunningham. It reached into the culture of the WNBA itself, which often battled against misconceptions by presenting itself as an equal, parallel to the men's game rather than a unique product with its own strengths. For years, the league tried to fight disrespect by elevating itself through comparisons, insisting that women could match men in areas where biology made that impossible. Instead of celebrating what made women's basketball precision, strategy, fundamental, some segments of the fanbase tried to craft an illusion that collapsed under scrutiny. Sophie punctured that illusion, not out of spite, but out of honesty. The emotional fallout of her statements revealed something raw in the WNBA community. Many fans were not just defending the league. They were defending themselves. They felt personally attacked whenever someone pointed out physical differences because they had intertwined their identity with the league's image. When Sophie admitted the obvious, it forced them to face the insecurity they had been covering with bravado. It was easier to attack her than confront the discomfort of reality. Yet Sophie's clarity resonated with another group of fans who believed that women's basketball could stand on its own without inflated claims. They felt empowered by her courage. grateful that someone within the league was willing to speak with conviction rather than prepackaged talking points. To them, Sophie represented a shift toward authenticity, a refusal to cling to outdated narratives that limited the league's growth. As the debate stretched across days, then weeks, new tensions surfaced. Commentators pointed out how quickly the discussion had turned personal, revealing how fragile the ecosystem around the WNBA currently is. Instead of engaging with the athletic question, people clung to emotional defenses and moral arguments to avoid the implications. By the time the frenzy began to cool, the conversation had exposed more than anyone expected. It highlighted the internal fractures within the WNBA community, those who want to protect an idealized image at all costs, and those who want to embrace truth even when it is inconvenient. Sophie found herself standing at the center of this divide, not because she sought controversy, but because she refused to bend her words to satisfy either side, and as the dust settled, one undeniable truth remained. Sophie Cunningham's honesty did not weaken women's basketball. It strengthened it. By grounding the conversation in reality, she challenged the sport to move beyond illusions and embrace what makes it powerful in its own right. She proved that honesty, even when uncomfortable, opens the door for growth. The debate she sparked will not be forgotten. It will linger as a reminder that truth, no matter how simple, can shake an entire league when people are not ready to face it. And now the question turns to you. Do you think Sophie Cunningham was right to confront the truth head-on, or should she have protected the image the WNBA has worked so hard to build? Should players be free to speak honestly, even when it challenges the narrative, or should they maintain unity at all costs? Share your thoughts below. And if you want more dramatic deep-dive breakdowns into the biggest controversies shaping the WNBA and beyond, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next powerful story.